This is a story time all about my journey from Johannesburg as a schoolgirl to Cape Town as a university student, and I can't wait to share my journey with you. So hi, my name is Caitlin and I am a fourth year business science student at the University of Cape Town, and I majority live in Cape Town, but Joburg will always be my home because that is where my family is. But I can't wait to share my little journey down from Joburg to Cape Town. So I've been living in Cape Town for basically 4 years now, and so I feel like I can give you a proper rundown of kind of the experience I've had from moving from Joburg down to Cape Town, and possibly throw in some tips and tricks for you for if you are moving down to Cape Town as well. So before we carry on with this video, make sure to get yourself a nice drink. I have got a water with electrolytes. I am running the Two Oceans half marathon this weekend, so making sure that I stay hydrated. And I've also written myself a whole bunch of notes so that I make sure I don't forget anything. But grab yourself a hot drink, maybe something to eat, some popcorn. Grab yourself some popcorn or some chips and enjoy the story time video with me. So I've been living in the same house in Joburg for 21 years now, and I have not felt the need to move out of Joburg at all. I really love the Joburg lifestyle. I love being able to go and try out so many different restaurants, and I went to the same school for 13 years through and through. So it might seem crazy to some people who have been down to Cape Town and have also been to Joburg, but I really love Joburg. It's probably mostly because, you know, I've got all my family is down there. I only have one cousin that lives down in Cape Town, but all my other family lives in Joburg, and I've also made all my memories in Joburg so far. And so it is really too hard to say that I would want to move away from Joburg at this current moment, because I have just done everything in Joburg, and I love going to the different shopping malls, to the different outdoor areas, to the different restaurants, and I really have loved my lifestyle in Joburg a lot. And for the 18 years that I was probably there, like basically non-stop without moving down to Cape Town yet, I loved my schooling. Obviously there was a few rocky patches, but pretty much my schooling was straightforward and didn't have too many problems. I mean, the only times I really left Joburg was when we went on holiday to Europe, to America, and when I went on exchange to Alice Springs. That was the longest period of time that I'd been outside of Joburg. And also, if you're curious on my exchange story, I've already put up a story time video on that, so check it out on my channel. But that was probably the longest period of time I'd been out of Joburg, and honestly, like, I just love Joburg. We did come on holidays to Cape Town quite a few times. We started coming with one of my best friends, Gina, and her family, and we kind of stayed in all different areas. Some of the places that we have loved staying in Cape Town is specifically Llandudno, which is where we stayed last year for holiday. We've stayed in Noordhoek quite a few times, Fishhoek, Cork Bay. We've obviously stayed in Sea Point a lot when my parents have come down since I've come to varsity in Cape Town. But basically, like, we've just come on holiday a lot to Cape Town before I moved down here. And so I felt like Cape Town was is recognizable the right word? Recognizable place, and it was a place that I was a bit more familiar with, and so the thought of moving down to Cape Town was not a scary one for me. I felt that I was ready to start a new chapter in my life, and to explore something a little bit different, and so I was really excited to try out Cape Town. The only problem was that it was still COVID at the time, so there were still lots of regulations in place, and so that made my first year quite a tough experience. So I was always that kid that was so excited and willing to go and stay at friends' houses and I loved going to stay at my grandparents' house. We actually loved doing this thing with my grandparents where whenever we went over, we would have what we called a pajama party, and basically we would normally watch Mr. Bean because we absolutely love Mr. Bean as kids, and we would eat a whole bunch of sweets, which sounds bad now, but it honestly was amazing. So I was always that kid that was so not fazed about going to stay at people's houses, and it didn't really worry me. So yeah, moving away from my family wasn't a huge deal, if that's the best way to put it. And obviously my exchange really helped me because I'd been away from home for 6 weeks, so I was able to understand what living away from my family would be like. Obviously a little bit different in terms of university life because I would have to clean for myself, cook for myself, and just look after my apartment and my living space, which I didn't have to do on exchange. But yeah, just it wasn't a foreign concept for me to move away from home for a long period of time and to come down and be an independent person. The plane journey from Johannesburg to Cape Town is roughly about a 2-hour flight, and since we'd come down on holiday here a lot, I was very familiar with the concept of traveling from Joburg to Cape Town. Obviously what I didn't comprehend was that I would be doing a lot by myself. And so that was something new for me to explore when I got down to Cape Town for the first time in 2021. So I forgot to say, I started university in 2021, so I matriculated in 2020, which was the year that COVID hit South Africa and the rest of the world. I feel like at this point that I should be a diamond level on Fly Safair because I have done so many flights with them and they have gotten so much money from my family. So I feel like I should have a real proper loyalty card with them, and I really think that I'm so good at flying now. I know what to pack and what not to pack and how early to get to the airport and that kind of thing. I know exactly what I like to eat when I get to the airport. I always go to the Mug and Bean in Cape Town and get a piece of toast with 2 poached eggs and a latte with almond milk. So that is my standard when I get to Cape Town International Airport. But I just feel like the flying part I become really good at, and it doesn't really faze me anymore. Obviously the first time was something interesting because I didn't want to be late, and my family is always those people that want to make sure they get to the airport hours in advance just in case anything happens. And touch wood, but nothing really has happened to us. Oh, one time something happened to us which was not our fault at all, but we've been very lucky with flying. So when we came on holiday to Cape Town, we obviously were staying in the more touristy areas, and I, in first year and for the next 3 years after that, have been staying in more student-based areas, which is really, really nice, but it is very different to the touristy areas. And so that was something that I had to get used to, was that I wasn't in the hustle and bustle of being around tourists and where there's lots of restaurants, and I was more in the studenty areas, which didn't take too long. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't take too long to get used to, but it was a change from something that I was used to whenever I came to Cape Town to now I was just coming back to my res room and was living on my own. So when I got provisional acceptance in matric for coming to UCT, I actually was very, very lucky, and I got provisional acceptance for all 4 of the universities that I applied to, which was UCT, Stellenbosch University, Pretoria University, known as Tukkies, and Wits University. So 2 of them are in the Western Cape. One is in Pretoria, one was in Joburg. My first choice was always UCT. May have been a little bit biased because my cousin came to UCT, but I also just absolutely love the busyness of a city and just being able to, travel out to Seapoint if I wanted to, travel down to the beach at Noordhoek if I wanted to. Just the options of and opportunities for me to go and explore different places. I absolutely love trying new places. I actually get a little bit depressed, I don't know if that's the right word, when I have to go to the same restaurant over again. I love trying new things. That is one thing that you might not know about me. I just love trying new things. So I was really excited to start this new chapter in my life. I didn't really know what was coming for me in first year. So obviously I was a bit nervous and excited, but it was a new chapter of my life, and so how could you not get excited about that? I will say that I have found that Joburg and Cape Town are very similar in terms of the busyness of life, the amount of people on the roads, the different restaurants, obviously all the buildings. The major difference between Cape Town and Joburg is obviously Cape Town is right by the ocean, Joburg is landlocked. So you have the ocean in Cape Town, you have all the outdoor areas, so you can do a lot more hiking and, well, it's just more on your doorstep. So in Joburg you can do it, but you have to travel a little bit further out to do it. Whereas in Cape Town, like, Table Mountain is right here, or very close to me, so I am able to go and take a hike. Not that I ever do because I'm not much of a hiker, but if I wanted to go on like a trail run or something like that, then I could. And there's this place called Newlands Forest that I go to sometimes, which I really love. So that, I would say, is the only major difference between Cape Town and Joburg, is obviously the ocean and the number of outdoor areas closer by. So what I did decide to do, and I would highly recommend this if you are able to, is to come and view the universities before you make an informed decision. So I came down to Cape Town in, it was 2020, February of 2020, literally just before COVID hit. Like, I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks before COVID hit South Africa. But I came down to Cape Town and my cousin gave me a tour of UCT, and I actually wasn't able to go to that open day because it was at a different time, but then I went to Stellenbosch University and also went to have a little tour around there, and the open day was happening when I was there. So I was just able to make a more informed decision about which university I wanted to go to. Even though my heart was really in Cape Town and at UCT, I still wanted to be able to say I really didn't want to go to Stellenbosch University. And obviously there's nothing against studies, it's just not my vibe. I like more people, like more opportunities. Cape Town is just where my heart is, and I think it will always be there. When I came down in first year, I moved into a private res, which I won't mention the name, but I came down to a private res and I stayed in a 1-bedroom apartment or flat, whatever you want to call it. It was very, very small. I mean, it had exactly what I needed: a desk, a 3/4 bed, it had a little kitchenette, a shower, toilet, you know, everything you kind of need when you first move down to Cape Town as a student. The only big downfall for me was it was still COVID and there were still lots of restrictions, so I was unable to go to varsity on a daily basis. The only time I went to varsity, probably about 5 times that year, was for like 2 accounting tests, accounting exam, maths exam, and I think there was a maths test as well. So all in all, like, the amount of times I went to varsity I could count on one hand, which was really sad for me in first year. I didn't really come down to Cape Town with any of my closest friends. 2 of them went to Stellenbosch and 1 of them went to Birmingham University in the UK. So I didn't really come down with anyone that I was really, really close to. So that was a big thing for me. I found that really tough. So I tried to like get out of my room as much as possible and try and make as many friends as possible. But the thing is with this private res is that the first week and second week, everyone was so welcoming and they were kind of like, oh yes, come, let's make friends, come and join our friendship group, let's go out together. And then once varsity hit, everyone kind of went back into their bubbles, and then I felt like an outsider again. And so I was very, very lonely in that year. And yeah, not many people know that, but I hated first year. It was probably my worst year I have had in my life so far, and I learned a lot about myself in that year. So in that year, because I was so lonely, first of all, I did shed a lot of tears in that year. And I actually wish I was on YouTube at that time so I could have shared a little bit more with you guys about like my tips then and what I was experiencing, and yeah, just kind of to look back at that and to see how far I've come, because I really have come a long way. But yeah, in that year I used to go home quite a lot in that year, probably a little bit more than I go home these days, because I didn't really have a support system in Cape Town at that point. Didn't really have that many friends. I mean, it's hard when you first move to a new place to make friends, but it's even harder when you are not given opportunities to meet people. One of my tips, I would say, is to try and join a gym or join as many sports clubs as you can or cultural clubs as you can. And obviously COVID is not happening right now, but those would be my best tips I could give you to try and make friends. These are the kinds of tips that I've given my brother since he has just moved down to Cape Town as well. Just to try and get yourself out there in whatever hobbies or interests you have. Just try and get out and try and make as many friends as possible, because it can be a lonely place. I feel like I could really talk to the walls a lot of the time, because sometimes I was in my room like 24/7, jumping between my bed and my desk, because my desk was my side table. So I would like work at my desk and then I would go to my bed and like watch TV or have a nap, and then I'd make food. And it was kind of like, you know, those cycles that you see. So it was basically like wake up, work, nap, eat, wake up, work, nap, repeat. You know, it was kind of like that tedious cycle of doing the same things over and over and over again. So just to make this a bit more lighthearted, one of the perks of being stuck in my res all day and not having to go to varsity was when I did go to varsity, I didn't have to pay for a parking desk. Normally first years are not allowed to drive on campus, are not allowed to park on campus. So just be aware of that if you're just coming down to Cape Town and you're studying at UCT. You can't park or drive on campus, you can't get a parking desk. So whenever I went on campus, I was free to park anywhere I wanted. There was hardly anyone there. It was perfect. Now I have to pay for a parking desk every year, which is kind of sad because you pay so many fees to the varsity. But anyways, that's like just a little side. So I thought that was kind of funny and I had to share that with you. And having a car was a big help in that year. I know I'm very grateful and lucky to be able to have a car at all at this age. But having a car was such a help in Cape Town, because there's obviously a lot more places that you can go. Ubers can be expensive, public transport is not the greatest, and the only other thing really is a jammy, but they don't go everywhere. So jammy is the UCT shuttle, if you didn't know that, which I haven't taken, and I'm going to tell you that now because I need to hold myself accountable to go on a jammy shuttle before I graduate at the end of next year. So I'm saying that now so that you guys can hold me accountable. But yeah, having a car was really helpful and has been really helpful, because it means that I could drive to the shops and very easily just get my groceries and put them in my car, or be able to just, spontaneously get in my car and drive down to Camps Bay or Clifton and go to the beach, or even just get like a pizza and sit on the rocks and just like watch the sunset. So small things like that. Having a car has been really, really helpful. So in that first year I really did learn a lot about myself. One of the things that I learned is that I definitely don't want to live alone. And so when it came to like moving out of my res and moving out of my room, firstly I was very excited because it had been such a lonely and stressful and sad year that I was so excited to move out of my res. First thing that I did when I moved out was, in the process of moving out, was to find a place to live. And I was looking at like 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, but my first priority and the place that I really wanted to live was in a digs. And so that's how we've come to second year, third year and fourth year. I've been living in a digs with quite a few number of people, and I have just made such like a good friendships with these people. So from second to third year, only 2 of us stayed on, and from last year to this year we've had only 2 new people join. So it has been so amazing to get to know these people. They have become like family to me, and I have just loved living in a digs. So if you're the kind of person who does not like living alone, or likes more of a homey, comfortable environment where you have your own space but also lots of other spaces to go and like lounge around with your friends, then a dig setup is the way to go, I promise you. I've loved living in my digs. It has been the best decision I ever made, and that was one positive that came out of living in the private res for a year, is that I knew I didn't want to live on my own. I didn't want to live in that place anymore. I wanted to be in a beautiful setup like this. Another positive that came out of that year was towards the end of the year I started thinking more and more about a church community and about starting to foster my relationship with God again, and that's exactly what I did. It was on my mind a lot that I wanted to start rebuilding my relationship with God. And so in probably the March of 2022, so the next year, I found a beautiful church, and I have been there for 2 years now, and I would not change a thing. The people that I've met there are amazing, such like-minded people who are so filled with the Spirit and their faith as well, and I feel like it has been a turning point in my life. I have loved finding this church, and it was a real positive that came from a really negative year, is that I found my relationship and found God again, and I would never change that for a thing. So when I started out at university, I always knew that I wanted to do a business degree, or business science degree more specifically, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing a degree where I was still keeping my maths alive and my accounting alive, because if you don't know, I actually want to be a teacher, maths and accounting teacher. I needed to make sure that I had enough maths and accounting credits in order to carry on teaching maths and accounting to a high school level. So I started studying out business science, majoring in economics. And after a year of doing economics, I just decided that I couldn't do a whole year of honors, just like 5 or 6 courses of just economics. So I very quickly in second year changed from business science, majoring in economics, to majoring in finance. But what they don't tell you in the beginning is that finance for first and second year is still very numbers heavy, and you still do lots of calculations, and there's a little bit of theory, but it's more like calculation heavy. By third year, there is a lot of theory in the finance, and that is not where my passion lies. That is not where my strengths are. My strengths are in numbers, be it maths and accounting. So what I've only figured out very late on is that I figured out that I did not want to do a whole year of finance, especially in an honors year. That is the most tough year, and I just didn't want to do a whole year of finance. So after a lot of back and forth, looking at different things, looking at BCom degrees and other business science degrees, I came to the conclusion that I wanted to do a business science in marketing degree, and that is currently what I'm doing, and I am loving it so far. We are about 2 months in with the work, and it is so different to everything else that I've studied. When people have asked me, why did you change to marketing, I say to them, it is so much more creative than the numbers that I've been doing for 3 years and theory that I've been doing for 3 years. It is just a new path that I have never even thought about exploring before. And now I'm doing like my 3rd year of the degree and 4th year of the degree just in marketing. I would not have comprehended that at the beginning of 1st year, that this is exactly where I would be. So I would say that university has been a bit rocky for me. It hasn't been as straightforward as school was. I was very lucky. School was very straightforward. I didn't have too many problems. But I have had quite a few, bumps in the road when it comes to university. And I feel like it has made me a stronger person, but it has also made me realize that I need to enjoy life a little bit more, and not take it so seriously, for the most obviously. But I am really enjoying the marketing. I barely put pen to paper because everything is on the computer these days, and I'm just doing like research proposals and like marketing assignments, and it has been so fascinating. So in case you're wondering, we definitely still come on holiday to Cape Town. My parents love Cape Town and their goal is to move down here sometime in the future. Probably not while I'm still here, maybe not even while my brother is still studying here, but they want to move down to Cape Town, so we definitely still come on holiday here. There is just so much to do here. Some of the things that I've written down is, well, firstly, it is such a diverse place. South Africa in general is such a diverse place, so there's so much to do, but more specifically in Cape Town, since it's a very adventurous holiday, well, it can be very adventurous or very relaxing, but if you're more on the adventurous side, there are so many different hikes on the side, like by Sea Point, Rondebosch, Newlands, Claremont area, but then there's also so many hikes down on Llandudno side, Noordhoek side, where we were staying in December. If you take yourself down to Stellenbosch or Franschhoek, there's so many hikes and trail runs down there, so if you're the adventurous person, then that's the perfect place for you. There's so many different places to go and watch a sunset or a sunrise. Take yourself a nice drink, get a takeaway pizza on the way, you and your friend, or even just you, go and find a nice rock to sit on and watch a sunset or a sunrise. There's so many different towns to explore. I mean, I've mentioned quite a few of them: Fischhoek, Cork Bay, Simonstown, Noordhoek, Llandudno, Rondebosch, Claremont, Newlands, Sea Point, Camps Bay, Clifton. I don't even know if there's any others. And then obviously you can take yourself down to Somerset West, Stellenbosch, Franschhoek. There's just so many towns to explore, and there's so many different restaurants and different cuisines and shops, and also if you're a foreigner, you have to have a braai. A braai is a South African barbecue basically, and you just get a whole bunch of different meats, and oh, I love a good braai. It just reminds me of home. So I've been living in the Digs for 3 years now, and I feel like I will probably live in the Digs for my 4th year as well. I'm really hoping that my friends stay on, but if not, I am so used to making new friends now that it wouldn't be a struggle for me to get to know them. I have loved this homey, comfortable environment, a place where I have my own room so I can be on my own, but I also can spend time with my friends downstairs, and I just love also bringing friends that don't live here in, and spending time with them. And we have made so many memories in the Digs, and I know that we are going to make so many more. So I feel like my journey from Joburg to Cape Town started out really rocky, but it has turned into such an incredible and fruitful experience, and who knows, maybe I will come back to Cape Town and start a family here or live here for a couple of years of my life. You never know, but there's just so many opportunities awaiting me, and I can't wait to see what the future holds, to see what the rest of my Joburg to Cape Town journey will be like. I'll say if you are a high schooler moving down to Cape Town for your first year, or maybe you're a student that has been living here for a couple of years, I promise you that it might be rocky in the beginning, but you will find your feet and you will hopefully love this place as much as I do. I would definitely say it took me a long time to start loving this place, but I feel like a place really feels like a home when you make friends, and friends that maybe turn into family, just like the ones that I've got. So don't give up, keep fighting, and just believe that there is a reason you're meant to be here. I had to keep reminding myself of that as well, that God had a plan and purpose for me to be in Cape Town, and I just have to trust him on this journey. And so I didn't give up, and I'm so glad I didn't give up. So this is me here saying to you, don't give up on your dreams, and just know that the way forward is maybe a rocky one, but that you can do it. One big thing that I forgot to mention, a huge difference from Joburg to Cape Town, and something that I'm still getting used to, is this weather. What is it? It is cold in the morning, then it's sun shining in like the afternoon, and then it's cold again, and then so I'm putting on a jacket, taking off a jacket, putting on a jacket. I don't understand how these Cape Townians do it. I never know. Like, one tip I will say to you is make sure you always have a jacket with you. It might be sunny outside, but trust me, you might need that jacket a little bit later on. It is something that I always do, be it summer or winter. I always have an extra jacket with me just in case it gets cold. Also, the lecture halls sometimes get cold, so you might need a jacket for the lecture hall, if not outside. So that is something I'm trying to get used to. And the Cape Town winter, it rains, it's windy, and it's cold. Okay, being inside with that is amazing. It's perfect movie weather, movie popcorn, lying in your bed watching, great. But going outside to varsity, yeah, also make sure you have an umbrella all the time or a raincoat, because you don't want to be soaking wet when you get into your lectures or into wherever you're going. So I don't know if there's anything else I really wanted to share with you about my journey from Joburg to Cape Town, but we are 4 years in and we have about a year and a half to go, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for my life here in Cape Town. So come along on this journey with me for the next year and a half or more. We'll see what happens in the future. But if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as it really supports my channel, and hit the notification bell as well as subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please will you leave me a comment. If you're a Cape Townian, then tell me what your favorite thing is to do in Cape Town, because like I said, I love trying new things. And if you have any questions for me about Joburg or Cape Town, student life, moving from Joburg to Cape Town, anything along the sorts, I am so willing and open to answer your questions. Just leave them in the comment box below. I love you so very much, and I'll see you in my next video. I can't wait. I think the next video is going to be my 2 Oceans half marathon video, which will be up next week. But I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.